Hey guys, System here, and this is, well, a tutorial for FTB Stoneblock 3 to 10-10-10 chickens automatically using XNet and a little bit of industrial programming and a little other bits and bobs, right? So we'll go ahead and check this out. It is not my build at all. It's made by a cool dude who kind of see his name here in a second. And I'm not going to be giving a world download for this world here. It's a little test world because it's not mine. But if he does upload it somewhere and make it available to the public, I'll put the link down below. But I didn't have a chance to ask him. And yeah, he didn't know I was going to make a video on it though. So that's definitely a thing. And we're going to get to this, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look here. Over here, we got a little room here. This could be our actual chicken setup in the back here. Going to show that in a second. Down here, it says open me. I got a guide, right? Also up here, we got a sign. It says made by Ian L's number 7036. So that's who actually made this. Really cool dude. I'm going to refer to him as the Brazilian Beast because, well, this is a beastly setup. And I think it's pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and grab everything in this chest here. Got ourselves a breeder guide. On the guide there, it says by Exmo L. So I'm guessing that might be the real names or maybe a different name. I don't know. I just knew him as Ian. So anyway, that's a thing. We did talk in Discord chat, I guess, for about an hour or so there last week, which is pretty awesome. Kind of explained the first version of this. This is actually the 2.1 version. This is like breeder 2.1, which is pretty cool. So he's been working on it. And this one seems to work really well. But we go ahead and open up this book here. It says, put the chickens on the breeder to test the machine. The machine will stop when it reaches 17 to 18 max chickens. 15 chickens will be on the first door. 2 chickens will be on the breeder. The rest will be on the chest. And at this point, Ian lies to us. I'm going to let you know. Ian lies to us. Or Exmo, whatever your real... I can't even trust your real name anymore. But, yeah, sometimes you get 19 chickens as well. So it's actually 17 to 19. So anyway, not a big deal. Just thought I'd mention that. Also here, too, the seeds. It's very important the seeds always stay over 64. So you want to make sure there's always more than 64 seeds to keep the seeds filled up to the amount they need to be able to shut down the system in the end, right? So at the end, the system kind of shuts down. It doesn't keep wasting seeds, it's just breeding chickens, right? So you need to have a good amount of seeds actually in the system to have this going. Also, these drawers here, these are going to be the ones that take the chickens after they're bred, right? So they're going to get bred together here. And it's going to pull them out as they get new stats, right? It's going to put some in this drawer, some in this drawer. You need to have it set to, I guess not set to, but you have to have these iron downgrades in here. This basically takes the functional drawers, right? It makes it so they can only hold 1 stack of items. And chickens only stack to 16, meaning these things can only hold maximum of 16 chickens. That's very important to have. Also, for the rest of the configuration here on the back here, another setting that's very important is when you go ahead and set up your block breaker to actually break the breeder, this needs to be set with a mode here. Redstone mode runs with redstone. That setting has to be on. A lot of the stuff could be changed, right? You could actually lay it out a little differently because we're using XNet, but those certain things have to be there, right? So you have to have it that way. Just make sure you know what is kind of needed for the system to work no matter what. Otherwise, things are going to start breaking, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and grab these chickens here, I guess. Let's go ahead and do that. Take one, put it here, put it here. It's going to start breeding chickens, right? So what it's going to do, it's going to breed 2 chickens, right? It's going to pull the chicken out. It's going to put 1 in 1 drawer. Then if it gets another chicken, so it breeds again, right? So it keeps going because it has enough seeds. If it gets ones of different stats, it'll end up in the other drawer because it can't stack them in the drawers unless they have the same stats, right? So once it gets a chicken in this drawer and a chicken in this drawer, it'll actually fire a redstone signal to this block breaker down here, which makes it so it can break the breaker, right? Or sorry, break the breeder. Then the breeder itself ends up in the block placer and gets placed back down. The items in here, the wheat seeds and the chickens, actually end up in the absorption hopper. So this picks the items up. The absorption hopper moves the seeds back to the seed drawer. So it puts it in here. Then the excess chickens will actually end up in this chest. And then it kind of starts over again, right? So it starts breeding again. And then it moves the seeds back into here, obviously. So that's kind of like the whole process. So I'm going to show you how fast it can actually 10-10-10 the chickens, I guess, with max acceleration. So you can see here, it gets 1 chicken, it gets one of a different stat, fires a signal, breaks the actual breeder. Then if it gets 2 of the same chicken, this drawer here is actually set to higher priority. So the stackable chicken should usually end up in this drawer. That's actually important, but I'll explain that when we get to the channels here. But very quickly, this is going to get the 10-10-10 chickens. We're actually at 10-10-10 chickens now. So what's going to happen? It's going to get 16 chickens here. 1 access chicken here. It's going to break 1 last time. Then it's going to end up with 2 chickens in one of these slots and not the other slot. So we'll kind of wait till it's done here. So you know what it looks like when it's working correctly, right? You go. We are at 16. One more chicken. Break. 15 here. 2 here. Then we might have a 10, 10, 10 here. It's a little random, right? Yeah, we got 1, 10, 10, 10. And here's all our lower level chickens. So that is basically how it works. And that's how it should work if you have it set up right. So really, really cool. Really awesome. And pretty rad, right? So we have instant 10, 10, 10 chickens. So this is something I tried to do in this version myself and failed. Ian figured it out though. I did it in Stoneblock too, right? I had a setup like this, but I couldn't figure it out in this version. The reason I'm not putting this in my world too, like my own kind of let's play, is only because, well, I'm already past this point, right? So anyway, that's the thing. I guess we should go ahead and grab some more chickens here. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Go ahead and get a couple more in here. I don't know which one. We'll grab the derpy emeralds. We'll leave it on slow mode right now too. There you go. Kind of just let that go here. And then we're probably going to come in here and go through all these channels just so you guys know what's going on, right? I should go ahead and name these two. Let's go to this one here. This one's going to be the power channel. Just so I can explain a little cleaner. I'm going to break up the channels too, probably in little sections here too is kind of the idea. This one is the seeds. So let's handle seeds here. This one is going to be, we'll just call this one bread because it's going to be where the chickens are initially bred. This will be the new bread. And yes, I'm spelling it B-R-E-A-D. This could be where the higher stat level chickens get pulled back into the breeder after it's broken. This one here, what is this here? This is the absorption hopper. It just handles all that stuff. It's very nice that he broke up all the channels too, because it keeps everything clean and easy to understand. We'll call this one breeder, because after the breeder gets broken, it's just routing the breeder. And this one's going to be our redstone logic that actually fires the redstone signal that makes our breaker work, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. And like I said, I'm going to try to break it up into sections here. So first channel, it is the power channel, right? So basically what this one's doing is pulling the power from a creative energy cube. You use any kind of power source, right? So earlier in a pack, you probably only have like an alternator or maybe a Stirling generator or a lapidary, whatever you have, right? Maybe it's the lava power. You'd be able to pull your power out of that instead. He's also using, I should mention too, all advanced connectors. So that's something to be aware of. I don't know if you need it. I think you only need it at one part, but he has it for all of them. So that does take a little bit of diamonds. So a little more progress, right? But anyway, he's pulling the power out of the creative energy cube. He's inserting the power via this channel here into the actual controller at a priority. 13 doesn't matter, just needs to be higher. You always want to power your controller first because otherwise the whole system shuts down. Then he's also setting power to the block breaker and the block placer. So that's all that channel does. So it just moves around power. And technically, you don't actually even need this channel. Like, you don't need it. You could have, I could have like this cube down here or any power source and just power this side of the machine, this side of the machine, and this side of the machine. You just want to make sure this always gets power, right? So the controller always needs power. So that is the first channel, right? So the first channel is taken care of. Also should mention too that these channels are very normal. There's nothing changed with them, right? So there's no extra settings other than the priority on the insert of the controller, right? So that is good there. Now let's go over to the seed channel. The seed channel is a little different, right? So the seed channel is going to handle seeds. That's all this one does, right? So there's an insert on the actual breeder, right? It's set to whitelist seeds, right? For some reason, I didn't have a chance to ask him why he did this, but he did it on both channels, right? So on the extract of the drawer that holds the seeds and the insert into the breeder, he set the metadata matching tag. I'm not sure why. So I'm not sure about that. The only real setting to really worry about this is make sure the seeds are whitelist on both the extract and the insert. And then you also want to make sure the extract is set to stack because we really need this number to stay at 64 as much as possible. It's actually very important automation, and we'll cover that on a future channel here. It's not too far away, but pretty basic channel here. So the actual seed channel literally is just extract on stack, whitelist seeds, insert seeds on whitelist, and that handles the actual seed channel. So let's go ahead and take a look at the third channel here. This is going to be the bread channel, right? So this is going to be where the chickens, after they've been bred together, they get moved to the drawers and stored for later until the system has two different chickens, like two different new chickens with higher stats to move back into the actual breeder, right? So what it's doing is basically just storing those higher level chickens until it can get rid of those chickens that are actually in the breeder, right? And then move them back in. This is going to be the one that does that. So the way it's going to do that is, I guess first off, this one has a weird little setting on it, so I should show that. So down here we have an advanced connector on the bottom. So on the extract channel for this one, it's set to up. So it's pulling the chickens from the top side, and then it's blacklisting the seeds. So that's kind of the main thing it's doing. Even though the connector is connected to the bottom, since we're using an advanced connector, we can still pull from the top. So it's pulling from the top, and then it's blacklisting the seeds. So that's what this one is doing. then it's going ahead and taking those extracted chickens, moving them into the 2 different drawers. So it has the 2 different drawers here. The only difference is one is set to a priority of 1. The other one is set to a priority of 0. Main reason for that is in the end, the 15 chickens end up in this one, and this one should end up with no chickens in it when it's completely done. So that's kind of the entire channel there. Pretty basic. The only thing that's a little weird is the upside being the extract, but it shouldn't really matter. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 4th channel here. This is going to be the new bread. So I call this one new bread. Basically what this one is doing, after you have got your chickens, stat gains, right? So it's gone through here, they're bred, they got stat gains, they got stored here for later. It's going to be the one that moves the chickens back into the breeder so you can go through the next iteration of breeding of the chickens with higher stats, right? So that's what this one is doing. What it does as well, though, this channel as well does something very important. It's going to be the one that turns off the system as well. So this one has a secondary function. You notice this number here. This is the insert channel into the breeder. It's set to number 66. And what it's doing is counting the total number of items in this breeder. So it has 64 seeds and 2 chickens, meaning you can't put in any more chickens. It's actually limited. You can only hold a stack of seeds and you can't move in. So even if it gets a chicken of the same stat, you can't just keep putting them in here. You know what I mean? It's limited, hard limited by that 66 number. It makes it so it can't just keep moving chickens in there over and over and over. Otherwise, you'd end up with drawers that's full of tons of chickens, right? So we don't want to have that. And it works out quite well. So that is what that one's doing. I don't think there's any other special setting there. No, nothing special there. And the extracts on these ones are actually very basic as well. So they're just the create a new channel, extract, and you're good to go there. Nothing changed with the ticks or the stacks or anything like that. Everything is good. Also, I don't remember if I mentioned with the seed channel, this one here, make sure the extract is set to stack. That should be always on stack. Anytime you're moving the seeds around, you probably want that set to stack just to make sure it's always keeping that number at 64 as high as possible. You know what I mean? It has to be at 64 or the whole system breaks. So let's go ahead and take a look at this channel here. This is the absorption channel. So basically what this one is doing is going to, after the breeder is broken, it's just going to pick up the items, right? So it's going to grab the seeds and the chickens and move them where they need to go. So it moves the chickens into here and it moves the seeds back into here where they can get put back into here, right? So that's kind of what's going on. Very simple channel, actually. So we go to the extract here. It's set the stack first off. Nothing filtered on this one. Nothing too special. Then here on the insert of the chest, right? So this is the one that's going to the chest. There's a blacklist to the breeder because we want the breeder never to end up in the chest at all whatsoever. That's just a good way to safeguard that. Then up here, this would be the seed drawer. So the seed drawer has an insert as well. And here we have a priority of 10 because we want seeds to always go to this drawer unless this drawer is moving the seeds to the breeder, right? So just set that one to a priority of 10 and everything should be good in life, right? So really simple channel, not too bad. That one is pretty basic. Let's go ahead and jump to the next one here. The next channel is the breeder. This is going to be the breeder after it gets broken, right? The breeder gets grabbed by the block breaker, right? And we basically just need to move it to the appropriate place. That's all this channel is going to do. So on the block breaker, we have an extract, right? It's extracting the breeder on a whitelist. Then it goes ahead and jumps over to the insert into the block placer, and it's going to put the breeder on a whitelist. So pretty standard there. Nothing too special. This is probably the easiest channel out of all of them. And, just make sure you have your extract and insert. Doesn't matter anything with priorities or, I guess, tick speed. Just need to route that breeder to the appropriate spot so it gets placed down again, right? The last channel here is going to be the logic channel. This is going to be the one that handles the logic to fire the redstone signal under certain conditions to our breaker. So it actually fires because it is in redstone mode, run with redstone, right? So it's waiting for a redstone signal to be able to fire, right? So this is going to be the one that handles that. The way it's going to do that too is, I guess if you go over here, stop double clicking. There you go. If you go over here, go to the actual channel, it's in sensor mode. So this has 2 modes. It has sensor mode, it has output mode. In sensor mode, you set the conditions it's actually looking for, right? So I'm going to leave that one off, but you can change it to like items, fluids, energies. What is that? That's redstone, stuff like that. Then you have your operators on top of that. So what this one is actually looking for is items. If items are not equal to 0, right? So this is not equal to 0, then emit a redstone signal. If it is equal to 0, don't do anything. Don't do anything. Just sit there. And it emits it on a channel color as well. So it does it on a channel color of white. So basically, once this drawer gets a chicken in it, it emits a redstone signal of white. Once this one here gets a chicken in it, it emits a redstone signal of red. We then go ahead and go to the output channel, which is on the block breaker, right? These ones were on the drawers, right? So the ones that are getting the chickens, once it gets both signals here, you can see right here, it's looking for both signals. So it's looking for the white and red. Once both of them are on, emit a red zone signal at a value of 16, and then fire the breaker. So it'll just keep that on it as long as those connections are running. Once the chickens get moved, the red zone signal gets turned off, and it starts the whole, I guess, process of breeding the chicken skin, right? So this is the whole thing that kind of glues this entire system together. So yeah, that is pretty much all the channels. I think I was pretty clear on all of them. Hopefully I didn't miss anything here. We got ourselves a whole bunch of netherite chickens here as well, because I did them. Go ahead and pull you up. There you go. Kind of curious how many we ended up with on this batch. 10, 10, 10. Did I mess something up? Yeah, I didn't grab them there. Looks like we got 17 here. Just looking at the numbers too, because it is a little random. Like I said, sometimes you get 18, sometimes you get 17, sometimes you even get 19. So anyway, definitely different numbers here. But super slick, super good. Actual automation here is one of the coolest things I've actually seen in a long time with modded Minecraft. So I was super pumped to try this out, but it works so well. It just works so well. And the fact that this doesn't break with acceleration is impressive. That's actually one of the hardest things to do, these automations, especially when you're working with redstone and stuff. It's so easy to break them with acceleration because the redstone signals don't have time to actually fire properly, and everything gets fired kind of weird orders because you're actually doing the acceleration. But this thing doesn't seem to break, and I've been trying to break it. I think it's been tested with up to 3 of the stopwatches. Again, you don't need these at all. It's just nice to have because a lot of people are going to have acceleration in their worlds, right? So yeah, just pretty neat all around. So there you go. It looks like it's already 10, 10, 10. Only takes like 30 seconds or so, maybe like 40 seconds to actually get yourself all your 10, 10, 10 chickens. This one here might only end up with 17. I think this might be a 17. There you go. 16. So we got 2 there. 17. Actually, it might be an 18. Nope, it's a 17. Always interested in how many we're going to get. But yeah, sometimes we get the different numbers there. But yeah, that is the automation. Pretty cool. Really amazing automation. I struggled with this for so long. I tried to do this for almost 2 to 3 hours to do this automation myself. I had Super Circuit Maker trying to do the logic. I was failing at it. I was using XNet, but it was just to route the items around. But yeah, I was trying to use Super Circuit Maker to actually do all the logic. And like I said, I just failed miserably. So yeah, we got ourselves the Ian Elves, who actually did this amazingly. Super rad, super awesome, really good. If he uploads it somewhere, I will put the world download down below. But hopefully that's clear enough where you can actually copy it pretty easily. So yeah, just the controller, creative energy cube, breeder, block placer on top. Behind that, we got our block breaker. Then we got our 2 drawers, right? Make sure they have the correct downgrades. Your seed chest, then the actual, I don't know if that has to be trapped, but I would put it down to trap chest just in case. Then I guess connect everything with connectors on the bottom. Then you want a connector on the back of the placer, and then one on the bottom of the breaker as well. And that should be your configuration if you want to lay it out exact same way. If you have a little more understanding of XNet, you could configure this different ways, right? You could pretty much configure it any way you want as long as the placer and the breaker had access to the breeder, right? So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this tutorial here. So I really enjoyed recording it. Thank you very much to Ian, aka the Brazilian Beast, for giving me access to the world save and kind of walk me through it too, because we talked it out and sorted out part of the automation, I guess, together as well, which was a pretty good time. And thank you so much for this this world and being able to let me show it to everyone as well, because I know a lot of people were looking for ways to be able to 10 their chickens automatically. And this guy does it. This thing gets done. So thank you very much. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button. Really liked it, hit that subscribe button. It is always appreciated. I want you guys all to have a good one. See you guys in the next video. Later.